Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of 2020 Insights. Over to you, Wendy.
Thanks very much, Katie, and thanks for the great introduction there. So, Ian, last week we mentioned LinkedIn, and we mentioned the new connectivity that there is between LinkedIn and Dynamics 365, both the Sales Hub and the marketing package. And I know that you've been doing a lot of work with that, because we had a recent event and we had a campaign built around that, and that campaign was executed via both LinkedIn and recorded in our marketing side. So I wondered, what was your experience of using that? What do you think made that a useful tool for that campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been interested in the whole thing around LinkedIn and Microsoft buying it and the raise and debt and all that kind of good thing. Because it was a major investment.
Yes.
But I'm kind of getting it now. I'm getting it really big time, and there's so much to it, and I don't think people are cottoning on to what this is about. I mean, at the very base level, obviously, what you have to have is a Sales Navigator license. So that's the first criteria. And there's a couple of ways of doing that. You can either buy I'm not sure it's still around. Well, I think it might still be around. But what they call a relationship sales license, which effectively is a sales enterprise license and Sales Navigator license from LinkedIn. But you can only buy that on EA, minimum of 10 licenses and what have you. It's all a bit complicated. Or like we do, we have a Sales Enterprise license, and then you and I both have a Sales Navigator license, which gives you the same effect. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I really like about it is I'm in my sales application. We get a lead come in or what have you. From there, I can see everything that's in LinkedIn in Dynamics around the person and their business. Now, what's that give me? Well, it gives me the ability to make a connection with them. I can find also, because you and I are both on the platform, if I don't have any connections with them, but you do, I will see that. So I can say, hey, Wendy, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a warm introduction to this person? Okay,
Yeah.
which is amazing. If you think about some of these large professional services businesses, they may have 40, 50, 100 people on that platform. Just think of the power of that connectivity. That's amazing. But also, I can then start to get a picture around the company as well. So I can see how many people are on LinkedIn. I can see that, I can see all those people. But what's really powerful also from that is from within Dynamics, I can actually make a connection and send a LinkedIn message from within Dynamics. Now, I think a point you made earlier on, which I think is so important, is there's still an air gap between LinkedIn and Dynamics. So what you can't do is go into LinkedIn and hoover out a whole load of contacts and accounts and whatever you bring to Dynamics. You can't do that, but you can get that information and you can use that in Sales Navigator. And you can add people to lists in Sales Navigator. Now that's really powerful because, as you know, we've got an HR platform. I've got a list of HR contacts, and when those people move or get promoted, I get notified. And I can go back to them with a message and say, hey, I see that you just moved, you got promoted, don't forget we've got this great HR platform which may benefit you in your new role, new job, whatever. So that's really cool. And that's in the sales piece.
Yeah.
But back to your point, how do we use it? Well, we actually created advertising campaigns on LinkedIn, which we then brought in through a form that was posted on LinkedIn. Now, bear in mind, if you use the LinkedIn forms, if you create an advert and the result of that is to go to a landing page built in LinkedIn with a LinkedIn form in it, all the contact has to do is make one click to say they're interested. The form opens up, pre-populated. They've got to type nothing in. They just click the button, and that comes in as a posted form into our marketing application.
That's very powerful, isn't it? Because it gets over that thing where people are, they bail on filling out forms because too much information is required. But the thing is, if you don't put enough requests for information in there, you don't actually get anything of value. So I think that connection there between LinkedIn and the fact that you don't have to, and the forms that you can use there and you don't have to complete them, I think that's very powerful.
Absolutely. I think especially that research we looked at the other day, which said that in terms of trust on social media, LinkedIn is way up here compared to the likes of Facebook and Twitter and what have you. People trust that platform. So on a B2B basis in particular, really powerful. So we were broadcasting the fact we've got this webinar, it's going to be about X, Y, and Z. If you're interested, register here. That was coming in as a posted form into our Dynamics, which in marketing then we were picking up on it as a segment because Dynamics marketing recognizes LinkedIn actions.
Yeah,
that was coming as a segment. That was starting as a trigger point for a customer journey, and away we went. And then we had all that about. Don't forget, next week we've got this webinar. So delighted you're coming along. We've just announced the speaker. And all that great stuff that Katie was doing for us.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I think it's a much understated alliance, bit of kit, whatever you want to call it. Really exciting stuff, I think.
I think so too. And I think one of the things that I've noticed about the way that we've used it is that it harnesses both the power of the LinkedIn connection and the fact that it is that trusted platform as well, because obviously there is some form of, how do I put this? You aren't likely to be doing things that would jeopardize your job or your career on LinkedIn, which means there's actually much more trust around what people are saying there. You can't deceive in quite the same way that you can in some of the other social media platforms. And I think that's valuable, actually, particularly in these times. It's important. So it's important to know we can trust that data and we can trust the people that are on there. And then when all of that information is available within our Dynamics 365 Sales Hub or our marketing, essentially we've got trusted information that we can then harness to the incredible engine that is the campaign automation side of and the customer journey side, but effectively that marketing automation piece that we've spoken about before, which is such a powerful part of Dynamics 365 marketing. I think we've yet to see that really coming into its own.
Yeah, I think, well, we as a business ourselves have only just started with it and already seen some amazing results. It means that as a small business, we can really punch above our weight in that marketing respect. I think from the LinkedIn bit, Microsoft and LinkedIn are still very separate companies, which is unusual for Microsoft when they buy something. Normally it just gets consumed into the organization that is Microsoft. No, and that's done very, very deliberately because LinkedIn is seen to be a members organization and they don't want to break that trust piece, so I think that's really powerful. The one little word of caution I would say is an awful lot of people register on LinkedIn with their personal email details because it's about them and their career. So when you do get leads in, you get an awful lot of leads from Gmail, Outlook, whatever. So you just need to spot that, because if it then becomes a B2B connection and you start to talk to them, you will need to go back in and look at that, because you want to then engage with a customer in their, or that contact in their business sense as opposed to their private sense. But despite that, it's an amazing bit of kit, and I think we can report back in a few months' time about some more exciting things we do with it as a potential.
I agree, and I think particularly at the moment, I was remembering that this time last year, I think I was at the CIPD conference, met a lot of people there, which are, that those people that are connected to on LinkedIn are effectively available to you as a potential contact as well. And given that we're not likely to be at events like that within the next 6 months, then it's a really valuable resource to be able to use that connection process and build the circles of people that we're connected to. I think we'll see it coming into its own much more during the next year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you entirely. So I think we'll come back to this one perhaps in another few months' time, actually, Wendy, and see what's going on. I'm going to throw something on the table for discussion next time. We haven't even discussed this, so here we go. Project operations. Go on then. Should we have a go at that?
Well, yeah, we'll have a go at that. That is a bit of a beast there, isn't it? I mean,
It
as
is
you
a bit of a
know,
beast.
we've both been doing some research on that because of the changes that happened at the beginning of October. And yeah, I think there's some very exciting news in that respect. And there isn't a huge amount out there about that at the moment. I think it's kind of rumbling under. So yes, agreed. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
You up
let's
for the
throw it
challenge?
down. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's watch this space.
Thank you.
Katie, I think we're back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you both so much. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you back next week. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Ian. Bye.
Cheers,
Thank you. Bye-bye.